Picture this. It's September 1st, 2018. You're a meteorologist working for NOAA stationed out on the coast of North Carolina. Over the past couple hours, you and a few other coworkers have been monitoring the development of a storm on the west coast of Africa. This being hurricane season, you wouldn't be surprised if the storm develops into something more serious. You continue to track the storm, which is now named Hurricane Florence, over the course of the week. Since its development off the coast of Africa, it has rapidly increased its wind speed and started heading west towards the east coast of the United States. On September 5th, the storm strengthens to a Category 4 hurricane. The figures about this storm really start to grab the attention of NOAA officials, as wind speeds above 130 miles an hour could cause some serious damage if it makes landfall. As the hurricane continues to move toward the east coast, many coastal areas are being evacuated. It is beginning to look like the storm might directly hit the Carolinas. Despite the risk, you decide to stay. It is only a few hours before the storm makes landfall now. Fortunately, it has lost some of its wind speed, shrinking from a Category 4 hurricane to just a Category 1. Even so, the hurricane is dumping plenty of rain, storm surge, and to make matters worse, it is moving incredibly slow. You realize that this hurricane will cause most of its damage due to extreme amounts of rainfall versus damaging wind speeds. The day is now September 14th, and Florence has made landfall on the coast of the Carolinas. You still residing there have retreated to a tall building where you can escape the storm surge, which is measured at around 2.7 feet above the ground level. In just a few hours, the coast was totally flooded. But because of the speed of Florence, the hurricane wouldn't leave the coast for yet another 4 days. Finally, after those 4 days had passed, the hurricane had dissipated into some light rain. Part of your job as a meteorologist is to assess the damage of the storm had caused. So for your Hurricane Florence, you decide to start with measuring the severity of the flooding. First, you call an inland NOAA station to ask about the rainfall they received over the past 4 days. They respond to tell you that Florence dumped up to 30 inches of rain in some spots. They also say the recorded stream flow numbers, or the amount of water flowing past a certain point in the stream, are off the charts. Many inland North and South Carolina rivers are recorded as having some of the highest ever stream flow numbers after the storm. The Waccamaw River in Freeland, North Carolina had a stream flow of 53,600 cubic feet per second, shattering the 7-decade-long record. The flooding of all these rivers only leads you to question whether Hurricane Florence caused any fatalities. So next you decide to gather information on the storm's human impact. To do this, you question a local hospital. Luckily, nearly 450,000 people were evacuated prior to the storm's arrival. But despite this, 22 fatalities due to the flooding over the span of 3 different states were recorded. Additionally, you're told that potentially 30 indirect deaths have occurred from the storm due to heart attacks, fires, or electrocutions. You're disheartened by these numbers, but you continue to the fire department for more information. You're told that they may be able to rescue over 5,000 people from the flood. Moving on to possibly the most glaring topic, you look into the environmental and infrastructural damages. After consulting with an executive from the federal government, he learned that the estimated damages will total around $24 billion, with $22 billion coming from North Carolina alone. Over 11,000 homes and 108,000 businesses were damaged in some way by the storm. 1.1 million people were left without power. The environmental effects don't look that good either. The storage ponds at the Sutton Coal Ash Plant in Wilmington, North Carolina collapsed due to excess rainfall, leaking massive amounts of ash. Additionally, many septic tanks failed. Much of this, along with any other items swept up by the floodwaters, was eventually brought out to sea as the floodwaters retreated, creating a great deal of pollution in the Atlantic Ocean. After gathering this information and presenting it to your boss, he decides to call a meeting to discuss what needs to be done for the future protection of hurricanes. Many ideas, such as elevating homes, reinforcing infrastructure, and creating better insurance policies, are presented, but the most agreed upon is increased protection for the undeveloped coastal land and barrier islands along the Outer Banks. The idea is simple. The undeveloped land will serve as a barrier to weaken the hurricane before it reaches the human population. It also prevents people from building on hurricane-prone areas, protects the wildlife, and allows rainwater to drain easier.